Hey, I'm Molly Sims.
And I'm Emma Gormley. We're two girls obsessed with one thing, beauty.
And by that, we mean everything that makes you look
And feel
beautiful.
We're calling on our favorite health experts, industry insiders, and friends to answer all your beauty questions.
With a drink in hand.
Definitely with a drink in hand.
You're listening to Lipstick on the Rim with Molly Sims.
Today's guest is someone who has been called a life changer, a healer, and even a bit of a mystery himself.
You have probably heard about his best-selling books or his insanely popular celery juice movement.
Oh, that's right. But his mission goes far deeper than just that. Our guest today, oh my God, you guys, we're so excited. We have tried to get him for the past, 16 months, 18 months, 3 years since we started. He is none other than Anthony William, better known as the medical medium. He is the #1 New York Times bestselling author and chronic illness expert. Anthony, as we sit here and we drink our celery juice.
Cheers.
It is a global,
Cheers.
moment.
Cheers.
He really started this movement, the celery juice movement and the brain shot therapy, as well as the host of the wildly popular Medical Medium podcast. He has an extraordinary gift to converse with spirit of compassion, which we're going to talk about. Anthony has been helping people uncover the root causes, and we're going to talk about it even deeper, of their health struggles since the age of 4. His groundbreaking insights has transformed the lives of millions, celebrities, athletes, everyday individuals. Today, guys, we are going to be uncovering, we're going to be talking about saving your brain, life-changing foods, healing through cleansing, and uncovering the secret of chronic and mystery illness. Holy shit, Anthony. I'm so
No way.
Sipping the juice.
We're going to be listening and taking notes intensively, but I don't even know if there's anyone unfamiliar with the medical medium. So, but I will have to say, let's kind of go back. How did you become you? How did you become the medical medium?
Didn't want to become me. Did not want to. Woke up like 4 o'clock, 5 o'clock in the morning when I was 4 years old and heard a voice. And that voice was really clear. It was in my right ear, not in my head. I had my own thoughts. And my own thoughts were like, what is this? What? And that voice started talking to me about information about health. And viruses, metals, and I'm like, what is that? The whole bit. And my childhood was just learning from hearing this voice and learning, and then pulling on people's shirt sleeves and being like, hey, mister, 8 years old, you got, a big brain tumor, or hey, mister, you have this. And it was really a difficult childhood. I can't believe I made it to my teens. I can't believe I made it out of my teens. And the voice told me it's going to be a rough ride because you're not going to want to hear what you have to hear without you having any choice. And so, I probably would have done something different in my life, but I'm here and changing as many lives as I can.
So you hear a voice that says something.
You call it the spirit of compassion.
Spirit of compassion, yep.
That says this person has something wrong with them.
Yeah, that's how it started. It was that very
Give us
thing.
an example. Give us a story.
I'd be in the grocery store with my mom, and then spirit of compassion would be like, okay, this person has diabetes. And I go, okay, let me go and say something. And spirit of compassion is like, hold on. And I'd be like, hey, ma'am, you have diabetes. And be like, where did you get my medical records? This is long before internets, long before social, long before everything. Technology and all that. And like, where'd you get my medical records? And I was like 7 years old. And I'm like, medical? What's a medical record?
You probably didn't even know what diabetes was.
No, I didn't.
You were like, I just don't know.
And I didn't even pronounce it right. I never pronounced anything right. I still don't pronounce a lot of things right now, but that's so crazy.
And do you still hear those voices?
I do.
I
do.
Did you?
Are you hearing it right now?
Are you hearing it right now? Are we okay?
I always hear it. I always hear it.
That's not answering the question.
Okay, that's not answering the question. Are we okay? Did your mom think you were freaking crazy?
Okay, it was like this. Yeah, at first, it's like, wait a minute, something wrong with them. And then confirmation.
Right.
And confirmation is, I do have that. I wait a minute, this is wrong. How did you know? And that gets rid of the crazy instantly. It's like, then, my family's like, he's not crazy. This is real. And this is getting scary. And, my parents are still alive. And God bless, them. And they could tell stories and stories and stories. It's really amazing.
I do believe people have that innate ability.
100%.
I mean, look at Laura Lynn Jackson.
Totally.
I mean, there are some people that are
I think it's
gifted in that way.
You're just so in tune in a way that other people aren't. Like, I think we're all so distracted by everything. And there are certain special people like you that are very much in tune with yourself enough to receive that energy, right?
No, you got to be in tune. You do, and you got to be able to receive it. And you don't want to block everything out. And thank you. I mean, thank you for thinking so. That's amazing.
So for our listeners, is your information and guidance grounded in science, spirituality, or both?
Good point. Science is poaching medical medium information for quite a while now, which it's a compliment. It's a great honor, but they're poaching it, and out of the books and taking it and then not having any studies to support it because it came originally from medical medium published first. So it's incredible because it's science is what it is. I mean, in a way, because science loves it. Science wants to take it. Science is using it out there. And so it is incredible when you think about it. It came from up here. And then all of a sudden, suddenly, wait a minute, Epstein-Barr causes multiple sclerosis? Scratch my head. That's in the medical medium books, But science will be like saying something like that. And I think it's because there's a lot of people that are in the science, arts, science field, and they're interested and they read and they look at things. And they get interested. It compels them to put articles out and stuff like Epstein-Barr causes multiple sclerosis. And it's like, yeah, you forgot to cite me. It's
right.
like, and that's just the world we live in. But it's still a great honor to have this information and for it to just exist anyway. I mean, in the best situation, hey, mention medical medium once in a while so somebody can find a way to fix your multiple sclerosis, because we have so many people healed that got out of wheelchairs, with them because they knew where to go to get the rest of the information. Just saying Epstein-Barr causes it isn't the whole picture. So let people know where to go.
Is that how you recommend people balance the Eastern versus the Western, the traditional versus the alternative approach?
Yeah, like there's different kinds of things that happen. People go looking for answers. They're going to doctor. Like the medical medium community and communities around the world.
It's amazing.
They've been to so many doctors. That's the whole thing. And I always tell people, keep your doctors. Find a doctor that listens to you. Find a doctor that, that cares about you or cares enough and wants to hear what's going on. You have to have
Can you
that.
Just say that directly to camera for everybody listening out there, right there, because it's so important.
Yeah.
Just go ahead. Just repeat that one more time.
Yeah, you got to find a doctor. You have to find a doctor that actually listens to you. It's important.
Yeah.
It's critical.
It's a two-way street.
It's critical. Yeah, you need that. And because you always need something from your doctor somewhere, somehow along the way. It's a hard road. It's a hard world. And the medical medium community, they have doctors, and many of them have seen thousands and millions of doctors. There's so many people, and they couldn't get answers either, but that's okay. But the medical medium information was answers. It was like when the first book hit the scene, it was like, wait a minute, answers. And back then, nobody knew about neurological symptoms like the vagus nerve and neurological symptoms around it and all the different stuff, tingles, numbness, aches and pains, ringing in the ears. They didn't even know it was neurological, but the medical medium information was like, here's the cause. These are neurological. It broke the barrier in the health scene. I mean, Info has reshaped health on a whole. It's crazy.
So you often talk about saving your brain. What does that mean, and why is it so critical in today's world?
It's like your second filter. Your liver gets all filled up with junk and crap, and then to a point where it overflows and it spills over and you get a spill. Where does the stuff go? To your brain. Now your brain's the filter. Everybody's walking around with a brain that's dirty.
Is that like brain fog? Is that sort of the root of it, kind of?
Part of it, sure. They're walking around with dirty blood syndrome, dirty
my liver and my brain.
Dirty brains. There's toxic heavy metals in there. There's mercury, aluminum, copper. There's alloys in here, and the alloys are just melding together, and so many people are toxic, and we have to get that stuff out Got to
So
get it out.
how do you get it out?
So how do you get, what are some of the things you recommend? I know we only have
one of the
an
most
hour.
popular around the world right now is the medical medium heavy metal detox. Hands down, First for Women talked about it as being the most popular. It is the most effective. Nothing touches it till this day. And I don't, it's not like I want the credit. It's spirit of compassion. I didn't wake up one morning and was like, let me see what's going on here. I'm not the smartest guy in the world. Let me put this together and this and then save lives. And millions of lives are being saved. It came from above, the heavy metal detox. It's so
And what
great.
does that look like?
It's really easy. You got 5 key ingredients.
Okay.
And those 5 key ingredients are what does it. But they have to be together.
They have to be cocktailed together.
Yep. The wild blueberry, not the cultivated blueberry, not the, you go to the grocery store and you see a clamshell, plastic, and you see those cultivated big blueberries in there. That's not it. That won't do it. But the wild blueberry, that's one. Okay. The next one is dulse, which is a seaweed. You know how everybody's like, sea moss. Everybody's just going crazy. Dulse. That's the one right there that gets the metals out.
Oh, wow.
And so that's the next one. Cilantro. Cilantro in combination with these is a whole nother game to get metals out. So you want the cilantro. That's the next one. Barley grass juice powder, not barley grass. It won't do it, won't touch it. It's not the same thing. It has to be the barley grass juice powder. And then last but not least, you got to have the spirulina. Have to have the spirulina. You have to have the 5 key pieces working together.
And you can get this.
Yeah, you can just get it. You can go out and get barley grass juice powder. You could find it. You go find a good spirulina. Go find the wild blueberries, and you put it together. Just in a shake if you want. Put it in put it in a salad. Anybody can have it any way they want. And, make a smoothie bowl, which a lot of people in the medical medium community do, and get the metals out. It's the most effective. Lives change because nothing touches this.
One time is enough? Do you have to do it multiple times?
Every single day you do it. And take a break if you want. You can do it once a week, once every 3 days, but
I could do that in my smoothie 2 or 3 times. I drink almost a smoothie
if you're doing
every day.
smoothies anyway, put this together. And
Dulse. How do you spell it? D-A-L-S?
Yeah, dulse, D-U. Yep.
D-U.
Oh, yep. And so what happens is with metals, they sit, they rot, they fester, they leach, they oxidize, they become problematic, they spread to more neurons, and that's when everybody gets short-circuited. They got the anxiety, they got the depression, they can't budge that depression. Metals, original info. Metals create all of that stuff. And then a lot more other symptoms too, neurological symptoms, tics and spasms and all kinds of stuff, brain fog. The metals, when you start removing them, life changes. It's how, one of the reasons why I'm so known around the world. I'm loved and hated. I'm hated because of jealousy and hatred because I'm a guy who hears a voice, blah, blah, blah. At the same time, all these people getting their lives back. For real, though. They've seen everything.
I got to hear either the CFO, CEO, one of the heads of Reddit, and it was so interesting. These communities, what he's saying is these doctors come together, within your community, and they're like, do this. I saw this. What do you think about this? And that is community.
Yeah,
that is.
There's
100%.
a lot of doctors in the medical medium communities, a lot of MDs, a lot of naturopaths, a lot of DOs, just so many different doctors because they're seeing it with their patients and the whole bit. And
Can you share just for our listeners a specific success story from your work that you'll never forget that's impacted your career?
A child dying, 10 years old. Okay. And laying in bed after the hospital sent him home, parents not knowing what to do, getting worse and worse, losing his life, not being able to get out of bed to even go to the bathroom.
Did they know what was wrong with him?
Nope, they didn't. Pain unbearable from head to toe, just inconceivable just how bad it was. Mom got a hold of me during the days when I was taking calls and everything years ago, got a hold of me. I said, this is what we have to do. This is what Spirit says. Just got to do this. Child recovered. Child is an amazing guy right now. He's an older guy. And I talk to him regularly. I mean, he's just an incredible kid. And so that's just what Spirit of Compassion does.
That's amazing.
It's incredible. Other than the heavy metal detox, are there a few other things that you could recommend to our listeners that would help them, improve their brain health? in their lifestyle?
I know everybody gets upset about this. They always do. It's controversial. Lower your fats. Just lower your fats. I get it. I get slammed for it. Oh, fats are good for you. He doesn't know what he's talking about. You need fats for your brain. You need fats for your brain. What is he saying? Lower your fats. If you're somebody that's an animal protein person, do animal proteins. Just back them down a little bit. Be easy on them. Be careful. Do the less fattier ones. Overt fats are a problem when you're chronically sick. When you're chronically sick and you got problems, you increase the fats, you're going to get yourself in trouble. And it's kind of like, you see it on social. The great experiment is health on social. Everybody follow me. I'm doing this and it's working. 6 months later, I'm not doing that much anymore. I'm doing this now. But nobody's really kind of keeping track of them to show and punish them and be like, dude, you were doing this a year ago. What?
Yeah.
But yet when they're doing something, they're so like, they'll kill for it. They'll be like, how dare you? This works and everything. A year later, they're doing something different. And it's like this great experiment out there. But one thing I can tell everybody.
Look at keto.
Totally.
Oh,
1,000%.
Paleo, keto, carnivore. It'll keep on flipping in different aspects of it. And it just keeps on going, right? Mediterranean again. Oh, back to keto. Oh, let's bring paleo back. But what? Isn't paleo kind of carnivore? But now with this different, it's crazy. But everybody's experimenting.
There's always someone trying to
vegan,
hop
right? Vegan. You throw the vegan in there. But what happens in the end is that people get sick. They get sick. And they don't know why they're sick, and it falls apart in front of them. They're like, I thought I was doing it right. I was carnivore for 6 months. I thought I was doing it right. I was vegan for 6 months or a year. I'm getting sicker. Why? Because they don't know why they were sick to begin with, and they don't know how to fix it. So they're playing around the musical chairs and the diets. And Info freed all these people so they can still do animal proteins if they want, still be a vegan if they want, but do it right, and then learn why they were sick. And then it's just like, the sky opens up and they're like, why was I lost in that sea of confusion?
And what are some of the worst things that women and men can do in terms of their diet?
The worst things? Okay. Minus the processed food thing. Duh. We all know processed foods were bad. Yeah. I've been talking about it for 38 years. Like another
red food diet.
Oh my God.
Okay. We know that. Everybody knows that, okay? And if someone's going to eat a ton of processed foods, they have their right to do that. They're going to eat processed foods if they want to, right? But outside of that, if we get into the healthier stuff, all the different diets and everything everybody's doing, okay? One thing is, don't starve yourself and do this intermittent fasting thing where you're going on caffeine all day long, and then at night you do this one meal. Terrible.
So glad you came today, Anthony.
Terrible. Yeah, no, I know. It's awful.
Molly here, just jumping in to let you know that we've been nominated for People's Reader's Choice Poll on the most beautiful people of 2025. We're nominated in the category Which Podcast Gives the Best Beauty Advice. So make sure to follow the link in our show notes and Instagram bio and vote for us. Lipstick on the Rim. We're poll number 7 out of 18. Make sure you answer all the polls and add your email at the end to ensure your vote is counted. You can opt out of marketing emails as well. We couldn't do this without you guys listening every week and supporting us. We love you, and we're so happy to be nominated.
Because intermittent fasting is one of the things that everybody is peddling. And I don't personally think it works for everybody. I think it works for some people. But why is it so bad?
Well, first of all, it's so good because they got rid of the bacon and the eggs in the morning and the sausages and all the fat and all the grease and anything. Donuts, okay, forget the grease. Donuts, whatever, bagels. They got rid of all that in the morning. And their liver went, thank freaking God. Thank God you gave me a break and a breather. So they're like, whoa, I'm starting to feel a little better. I'm starting to do a little better. This intermittent fasting thing is the greatest. But over time, you trash the crap out of your adrenals and you go spiraling. And you got to keep the caffeine going all day long, and maybe a little chocolate somewhere in the middle of it. And then you get down to the end of the day and you start binging on worse things and not the right stuff. And you just get thrown off course. Intermittent fasting's great in a way because it gives your liver a break in the morning. But man, you pay the price in all these other ways. That's one thing that's bad. And another thing, bone broth, okay? The bone broth diet, doing the bone broth. Bone broth cleanses, disastrous because...
Well, I don't do the cleanses, but I do actually enjoy bone broth.
I love a bone broth.
Yeah.
I don't live on it.
Yeah, you don't live on it. There's people that live on
But
it,
it's still
right?
good
and
for
they
you to
swear
burn
by
off,
it,
right?
and they're living on it. Terrible.
It's terrible for you?
It's all adrenaline. You remember when they killed the cow, right? And this is not propaganda, vegan, animal-based. That's not what it is. This has nothing to do with that.
We're not ordering bone
I don't
broth
think
today.
we're ordering bone broth today for lunch.
When you kill the cow, and this is original info, the adrenals are really large on that animal, right? And they just explode.
Ugh.
And the adrenaline goes into the marrow. So you're doing just adrenaline soup. And that over time can just break down your own bones, break down all kinds of stuff going on in your body. So that's another thing that's bad. I can go on all day about the different stuff out there. And carnivore, really bad when it's just meat only, meat 3 times a day. Terrible.
Yeah.
That's why every single carnivore person hits the wall and now they're bringing in fruit. What? I thought you don't do that on a carnivore. They're bringing in now lemon. They're bringing in honey. Now they're just on a medical medium diet with some animal protein. They're bringing in all these things. There's so many things going on out there that is tough on people. It's the great experiment.
So what should someone that wants to follow the way eat in the morning? So
give us a day in
First
your
of all,
life.
what's wrong with them? What's wrong with them? Do they have fibro? Do they have RA? Do they have MS? Do they have all the above? And that's the thing. Symptoms and illnesses cross each other, right? Go to a lupus doctor. Lupus doctor, be like, you got lupus. Go to an ALS doctor. You got ALS. Go to, it's like go to Lyme doctor. You're walking out with a Lyme tag, on your back, right? You got Lyme disease. Depends on what you're suffering with, the symptoms and everything. If you're really chronically ill, just right away, get some celery juice in you right away. Start to repair, start to feed your cells. It's not cliche just because a billion people drink it. Just get it in you and start with that, right?
So just for those listeners who aren't, don't drink celery juice, aren't familiar with the benefits of it, can you give us like a Cliff's Notes of what makes celery juice such a powerhouse?
Okay, first of all, it's got anti-pathogenic qualities. It's anti-pathogen. Everybody's sick, outside of just a few people that maybe have an asbestos cancer or something like that. Everybody's sick. They're sick because of pathogens and some metals and some other toxins, but pathogens, that's the big one right there. It's the bugs, Epstein-Barr, shingles, the different varieties of shingles, different varieties of Epstein-Barr. The HHV6, HHV7, herpes, fever blisters, herpes simplex 1, simplex 2, cytomegalovirus. These bugs are in everybody. And they're sitting there waiting to take off, waiting to proliferate and grow. And people don't realize that we have to knock those babies down. We have to kill those bugs. If all you can do is celery juice, it's the only thing you do, and 2 ounces of it a day, get it in you, start there. But here's the thing, with Info, you can customize and go further and further. It's not one size fits all. Everything out there turns into one size fits all, but this you can customize and do so many different things for your own condition.
So what are some other things you were saying, like a day in the life of you?
Do a morning cleanse. Do the medical medium morning cleanse. I'll tell you why it's so great. Okay, anybody out there, if you do this, right? You're not doing the intermittent fasting because you're feeding yourself. You're not running on adrenaline. Intermittent fasting, your adrenals are running all day. You're trashing yourself. The medical medium morning cleanse is your lemon water first thing in the morning. The lemon water is not for lemonade. It's not for just fun. It's not for flavor. It's to flush your liver. Original Info. And just a little disclaimer, I did not create a lemon. I did not, wasn't the first person that said put lemon in water.
Yeah.
But for flushing the liver, it's original Info. Flushing the body of toxins first thing in the morning because your liver has them all packaged up, ready at the gate, ready for you. And then we keep those poisons back in us because we don't flush them. Get that lemon water first thing. Put a little ginger if you want in there. Put a little honey. That's fine. But get that in first. Wait a little while, I don't know, half an hour or whatever you can do. Get the celery in you next. Do another flush. Get that liver cleaned up a little bit. Go a little deeper. Kill some pathogens and some bugs. Kill strep and E. coli and staph and C. diff.
Can children do celery juice?
Oh my God, can they ever? Absolutely. They do. And they do. So many children are drinking celery juice. And you're cleaning stuff up. After that, wait a little bit, and then you can do some fruit if you want. Whatever fruit you desire, whatever fruit you choose. Do you want melon? Do you want papaya? Do you want a banana? anything like that. You can go into that now, or do like an HMDS, heavy metal detox smoothie, medical medium stuff. And you can go into that next. You can even do steamed potatoes in the morning. Just don't put cheese and oil and stuff and lard and bacon fat on it. Just do steamed potato. But you don't eat overt fats until afternoon.
No fats.
Afternoon. And what happens is your liver doesn't have to produce a ton of bile. You just gave your liver a chance to regroup and recover so that you don't have to live on Ozempic, so you don't have to live on all the different, drugs that people are using for weight loss. You can heal your liver and get the weight off. Another medical medium original information thing is weight gain because of livers being stagnant. Now you see it everywhere. It was poached from MM books and in the original info. Your liver gets stagnant and sluggish, and then you gain weight. And so what happens here is you're doing the medical medium morning cleanse. You're getting rid of those overt fats, but doing better than that. You're bringing in your celery juice, your cleansers. You're bringing in your lemon water and your fruit. And afternoon, if you want to eat chicken and that's what you eat, you do it. You want to eat fish and that's what you eat. You want to eat avocados, eat them then. You want to eat some nuts because that's what you eat it then.
In the afternoon, after 12.
Yeah, after 12.
And then what time do you say stop eating?
Well, okay, there's all these rules out there. People are giving a lot of people PTSD. Stop eating exactly at 5 o'clock in the afternoon. Stop eating here.
Yeah.
When you're doing the right stuff, and it's all really good for you and aligned with your personal body's needs, you can eat right up until bedtime if you had to. You can still have a snack before bed. You can still have 2 dates and an apple. You can still have something. You don't want a steak right before you go to sleep. You don't want to eat a big old steak with butter on it. But you can still eat oatmeal if that's something you eat, whatever it is.
And what about alcohol?
Alcohol, I've been screaming about how bad that's been for people for years, and it was taboo.
Great.
Taboo. 10 years ago, you say on social, alcohol's bad. You got slaughtered because every single podcast doctor, every single whoever health guru was on alcohol. Wine, champagne at events, everybody drank. So you weren't allowed to say alcohol was bad. You had to say, yeah, you're right. Red wine is pretty good. It's got those anthocyanins and it's actually pretty good. But now, I was screaming about it for years, but now you hear it out there. Alcohol's bad for your brain. Alcohol's this, alcohol's that.
Why do you think so many chronic conditions go undiagnosed or misdiagnosed?
You got to think about it, right? You go to a doctor, you get all the scans, they do all the workups, the profiles, they do the blood draw, which we can talk about forever, how bad a lot of that blood draw is. But you get your blood drawn, and then they can't see anything really, maybe some deficiencies in your blood. Maybe you're a little off on your thyroid. Maybe
when they say your inflammatory markers.
Yeah.
What does that actually mean?
It means they don't know why you're sick. And Lyme disease inflammatory markers are the same. They don't know why somebody's sick. They claim it's Lyme bacteria, but that's not true because you don't see any Lyme bacteria in the test. It doesn't exist. It's just an inflammatory marker. So it's scary. It's just, yes, you're inflamed and that's what's going on. And the other thing too about the inflammation issues out there is it's a mystery. People don't know why it's there. But when you learn about why it's there, like when you learn, and you're like, whoa, did not know that. That's why I'm inflamed. The game changes. Your life changes.
It is interesting. Like I complain about my neck all the time.
She complains about her neck. Like I used to complain about my back.
Yeah, my neck, it is recently, and I can't explain why it's better. And I don't know if I'm just sleeping better, if I'm doing something different. I don't think I am.
Yeah. But
I get like chronic neck pain to the point where there was, I would say, about a 10-day period this year in the beginning of January where I was taking 3 Advil every 5 hours to numb the pain. Is
trying to force the inflammation
down. And I mean, it was I was basically asking anyone that would rub my neck to, my husband was like, you need to stop asking people to rub your neck. But I was like, just rub my neck. Can you feel it? And I do feel like I am not alone in that. I feel like neck pain, back pain is
Hip
such
pain.
a
I've had hip
thing.
pain.
Yeah.
Where-
If you don't have a disc that's like boom out, right? If you don't have that, like people that
that.
go, you have that. Yeah. And if you don't have that, then what's causing it?
Oh, I
And
mean, I
that's
was
where
convinced I was dying.
That's where the pathogens come in. That's where the fever blisters that may have been there for like shingles that you don't see rashing, all these little bugs, but your immune system's keeping it at bay. You don't have a breakout in the moment. You're not getting shingles somewhere in your body, but the viruses are just kind of percolating. They're getting into nerves. They're inflaming it. And then maybe your stress dropped a little bit. Maybe something got calm in your life for 5 seconds, just enough for your immune system to overpower and knock it back. And now you're like, hey, honey, for some reason, it's not so bad right now. It's pretty good.
So it's not me dying. I don't have like a tumor in my neck.
No. It's silly.
Okay. All right. Just making sure. These are the things that I worry
One
about.
of your most well-known discoveries is brain shot therapy. For those of you who may not be familiar, can you explain exactly what that is and how it works?
Concoctions from above, ingredients put together to actually help with someone, like phytochemical compounds that have things going on with them that science is not there yet. 100 years from now, science is going to look at food differently. And we're going to be like, human race is going to be like, whoa, remember when they were just worried about vitamin C and their choline and something else? 100 years from now, they're going to be like, oh my God, there is this crazy complex of phytochemical compounds that does this to the left side of the brain. And we're nowhere near that. We're in the dark ages of food right now. So Spirit of Compassion says, no, if you put this together, this together, this together, this together, it's like, a cocktail that's going to help somebody with craving things. If you put this together, it's going to knock their acids down in their gut. You put this together and they're going to be like, they're going to have a weapon against guilt and shame and anger and just all kinds of different things. The brain shot therapies are really powerful. They're little shots juiced with different ingredients in them that are life-changing. My favorite is the parsley shot, which is just straight parsley and only parsley. It's a nerve gut acid stabilizer. People swear by it, helping their nerves, their gut, their acids.
Just parsley.
It's parsley, but it's so thick, it's just parsley.
And how much do I do of it?
You just take as much will fill a 2-ounce shot glass, but do more. Go to 3, let it spill over. Do 2 shots in a row if you want, but whoa. You'll feel it. You send that down, you will feel it, and you will be like, this is life-changing. And that's a brain shot.
What's another brain shot?
Another brain shot? Craving shifter.
Ooh, what's that?
Love that one. Bunch of great stuff in there too. It's got a little glucose in there from a little bit of fruit. And here's what happens with people. They go glucose deficient in the brain. They lose their glucose. It just happens every day for people. And it's not even just about blood sugar.
Is that when you're like, oh, I lost my train of thought?
Yeah, well, yeah, that's the whole thing. We need more than oxygen to the brain. We need glucose to the brain. We need sugar. In 10 seconds, your brain starts dying without sugar. Like in 10 seconds, 5 seconds, it starts to actually start dying if it doesn't get sugar. So everybody's like, no sugar, no sugar, no sugar. And it got a lot of people to avoid fruit and go into fruit fear. And then boom, they were hitting walls, didn't know what's going on. And you need some form of sugar glucose going to your brain. And that stops people from binging. It stops people from getting all like crazy.
And what does that shot consist of?
The thing is with the craving shifter, you can put a little mango in there. Mm-hmm.
I love
you can take a mango alone and just do that in the morning, and it can actually help with cravings. Just knock down a mango.
I love mango.
So do you have to do it as a shot, or can you eat the mango?
You can eat it. And that's all you have to do is just eat it. And there you go.
It's the same. It's like whether you drink it or eat it, it's just get the mango in you.
Yep, exactly. There's a brain soother juice, which is another good thing too. There's a lot of different stuff for the brain. My favorite thing for the brain is the combination of glucose. So it's not complicated for people. I need it like really simplified, real easy for people. Glucose, trace mineral salts, okay? Those 2 things have to be there, glucose and trace mineral salts. That's the big 2 things. You need sugar and then trace mineral salts. That's right there. And so you have a celery stick with 2 dates. You have a mango and some broccoli, some spinach. You have spinach. The medical medium spinach soup, which is controversial, really controversial, because people are freaking out about raw spinach. They think it's bad for them. Oxalic acid oxalates.
I love spinach.
Yeah. You have spinach salad. I mean, it's like...
spinach salad, right?
Yeah.
But right now in the health scene, it is like evil. It is considered evil in the health scene.
Great.
Why though? What's wrong with...
There's a movement growing about spinach being bad, oxalic acid, oxalates, and how toxic it is. It's not true. It's spinach soup, the medical medium spinach soup, which is spinach, like 2 cups of spinach, couple of medium-sized tomatoes, half a stick of celery, okay? You can put a squeeze of orange in there, and you can just go with that and blend it up.
I love spinach.
And it's life-changing. It is. You do a spinach soup if you can deal with eating spinach in the sense or the taste or the flavor. If you do this spinach soup, every single day you will see benefits that will change your chronic illness. Just that tool alone. And spinach is like demonized right now. So it's crazy.
And you're saying it does what?
Trace mineral salts to the brain. Your neurons get fed like never before. Because that spinach has sodium in it, but a different kind. It's not the salt people throw in water, which is not the good salt.
So what are trace mineral salts?
Trace mineral salts? These are different forms of sodium that science is not breaking down and separating.
Okay.
They're not saying, oh, by the way, the sodium in a leaf of spinach is different than Himalayan rock salt. Science isn't going there yet. Who's going to take $10 million, $50 million to try to separate and look at the different sodiums? But they're different sodiums. They're actually different sodiums. Celery has a different sodium too. So the spinach leaf is loaded with salt, but a salt that gets to the brain fast, rapidly, goes on to neurons, feeds them, and it can bring somebody's brain that's brain fogged and problematic. It could bring somebody back. Depression starts to ease off. The spinach soup is such a big deal. It's a raw spinach soup. It's a raw dish.
So just, again, the trace mineral salt, can you get that at a grocery store, a health food store?
It's just naturally in the spinach.
Oh, it's just in the spinach.
Yeah.
Okay. Got it. All right. So it's not something you sprinkle in.
So if people do that every single day, they take raw spinach, 2 cups, they take a couple of tomatoes, half of a celery stick, squeeze some orange in it, blend it up, and they just eat that every day raw like that, and they will change, their lives will be changed. Whether they like me or not.
I'm basically just going to be making and blend. I need a blender. I need a new blender is the gist of this podcast.
Can we just go back one thing on the celery juice movement?
Yeah.
You talk about a few common mistakes that people make when they start the routine. What is that?
A few common mistakes with the celery juice. They don't strain it. You have to strain it after it's been juiced. You don't want all those little particles, those fibrous particles in there. You want that gone because you don't want your stomach, your gastric glands, your stomach to work on digesting anything. You want it just straight celery juice. You don't want fiber. You don't want to just eat celery sticks thinking you're getting the celery juice in you because it's kind of partly defeating the purpose because it's going to hold everything up in your stomach for a while. It's going to keep the celery juice in your stomach too long. You want it to go, you want it moving all the way down fast so it shoots up the hepatic portal highway, up the vein, the liver, right to the liver and get there and bang. You don't want it sitting in your stomach. But here's the thing. People, if they could just get a little bit in them every day and they eat a burger, okay, fine, I'm happy. Just get it in you. It still will help. But when you do it right and you strain it and you give it time between food and you do it by itself. Don't put lemon in it. Don't put some other kind of vegetable. Don't put apple in it. Try to keep it plain. Wow. And then the game changes for health. People's lives come back.
So one of the things that we talk about a lot on this podcast is collagen. And there's all kinds of different things like you can't consume collagen. You have said rather than consuming collagen, we need collagen building blocks to boost its production. What are those building blocks And how can our listeners at home boost
If somebody
their
has
collagen?
an eye disease, they can't eat an eyeball to fix it. It just doesn't happen. You know, you can't just eat a sheep's eyeball, cow's eyeball, a human eyeball. You can't be eye for an eye. You can't just fix it by eating something that you have a kidney problem. You can't cure your kidney disease by eating kidney. It just doesn't work. You got a liver problem, you can't eat liver to fix it. Doesn't happen. You got a collagen problem, eating collagen's not going to fix it. It's the same thing. And so much collagen has been, out there, and so many people, toting it and eating it and pouring it and everything. It's sad. Doesn't really do what it needs. Doesn't do anything for the person collagen wise. And maybe it does something else, but not that. You have to build your collagen from within. Original info. And I know I sound like a broken record, but it is. It's how.
And how do you build collagen?
Yeah, you build collagen. Vitamin C, big one right there. MSM, right there, another big one. Just 2 things alone. Silica, that one right there. Just those 3, and you're already building collagen. Just those 3. Eating collagen won't do it.
Foods you eat, you're saying like eating
No,
oranges, for
sure,
example,
I mean,
for vitamin C. What would be MSM?
MSM would be if you can't get, like, if you're not going to use the supplementation of MSM.
You can take a supplement.
You can take a supplement.
You can take
Okay.
it. If you're not, get like kale in you, get collard greens in you. If you're going to do that.
I'm from the South.
That's awesome.
And then silica you can also take, right?
Yeah, I mean, you can get
You can
silica.
take vitamin C, MSM, and silica.
Yeah. That alone, if you're somebody worried about collagen and that's a big thing, just take those 3 alone every day and you beat out any collagen-based collagen supplement or powder. You just killed it. You crushed it.
What are the biggest tips for reducing inflammation?
Well, first of all, just coming to the realization that your mysterious inflammation, if this isn't just because you banged your knee on the sidewalk or something, you fell and you're like, whoa, and it's so bad. You're talking about you got this rising numbers, your IgG something, your lab work, it's rising, C-reactive protein test, your ANA, all of that's rising, okay? Then you got mystery inflammation. First thing to do is be aware pathogens are there. Buggies are there. Little bugs, probably the Epstein-Barr. Probably a little shingles.
And you're seeing Epstein-Barr more and more and more and more.
So Epstein-Barr is one of those things, though. Like I had heard also that with males, Epstein-Barr also can lead to an increase in chances of lymphoma.
Yeah.
I mean,
it can lead to a lot of different conditions. It's a cancer creator. It's a viral cell that can turn into a cancer cell. So it can do that. That's what Epstein-Barr does. A lot of viruses can do that. They can turn into cancer cells over time. You want to beat them down and get rid of them, knock them down, kill them. But people don't know this. They don't know what they're chasing. They don't know what they're after. It's just hit and miss. Do this diet, do this anti-inflammatory, do this paleo, do this, whatever it is. And everybody's just, they're shooting.
So it almost feels like, and I mean, my daughter is in remission, but she had lymphoma. She rang the bell in December. It almost feels to me like everything you're saying to do, we can start to do young and teach our children this practice.
Definitely.
To, hopefully decrease, because I do think that there has been a tremendous increase in pediatric cancers in the last several years.
There has.
And
there's been an increase in all
cancers. But like children is
colon,
just like
children.
It really hits in such a different, obviously personal for me, but I think these are things that are so important for us to start to implement and just teach them that lifestyle habit at a young age.
Yeah, and building up immune systems, and that's a big thing right there. It's vitamin C every single day, building up the immune system.
Does she have vitamin C every day?
She does. I mean, she is, the irony of it is she is my healthiest child. She like devours fruit. This morning she had a bowl of mango, watermelon, and a bowl of strawberries. Like that's like she eats the fruit before anything else. She, that's her.
That's incredible.
Antibiotics typically disrupt the gut. And the gut is the microbiome we keep hearing constantly is that central piece that sends the messages to our body. What can you do, or what do you recommend for optimal gut health? Do you believe in probiotics?
Well, as of probiotics, that was a big thing, still is now, but pretty much probiotics die in the stomach. If somebody has strong gastric glands and they got good gastric HCl, it destroys probiotics in the stomach is what it does. But here's the best probiotic anybody could ever use on the planet, okay? All right? If you have a garden, on the leaf that you grew, parsley, oregano, doesn't matter what it is. If you don't have a garden, maybe a potted plant outside on your porch, anything on your terrace. On those leaves, in that state, without being cooked, just raw, are microbes. Those are the weapons right there. They bypass the HCl. They go down to the ileum, where all this matters, where it all matters, down low. And so if you're doing like a kale leaf at a farmer's market and you trust the farmer and it's not like, has contamination on it or something.
You wash it, of course.
You can rinse it. Just don't like scrub it, right? If you don't have a garden and you eat that raw piece of kale, you're getting probiotics like nothing can touch. If you pick an apple, if you take your kids to an apple orchard and you pick one right off a tree, it's covered in microbes, probiotics, that far supersede anything anybody puts in a capsule or a tablet. These are the elevated biotics. This is a whole different thing. Beats out anything science can do because it's way above it. It's there. Microbe science hasn't even not just discovered, studied. These are the microbes that go in our gut. That give us that real, seriously diversified, microbiome. Really amp it up versus trying to swallow pills, thinking and hoping it goes down to the gut, thinking it gets there.
I mean, I always get nervous about that. Like, we do grow some greens in our backyard, but then we have deer. And I'm like, are the deer touching this? I don't want to eat it. So that's a concern I have.
For our listeners at home, if there's one thing they remember, what would you want it to be?
Be easy on yourself. Don't be hard on yourself. If you're struggling, you're sick, it's not your fault. Because that beats people down. And it's not true. It's not your fault. You're not sick because you did it. Something else is going on. And you have to be easy on yourself. You have to pat yourself on the back. You have to have compassion for yourself. You can't hate yourself because of your illness, your chronic condition, whatever you're dealing with, whether it's emotional, mental, spiritually, physical, whatever it is. You have to be easy on yourself and kind to yourself. It's not your fault. You're a good person. If there's something you can take from here, it's you are a good person and your sickness doesn't define you and it's not because of you or your fault.
Love you, Anthony. We always have to do a little rapid fire before we leave. What's the first thing you eat in the morning?
It all depends on what's happening, what's going on, how much stress, how much work, how many deadlines, and so forth. I try to get the lemon water in, when I can. If I have the ability to get the celery juice in that moment, I still go for it. Okay, I might grab a piece of fruit, do something like that. If I can put the metal smoothie together, the HMDS or something, I'll put that together. It's kind of like I might just grab a steamed potato out of the refrigerator, a leftover or something, and just eat that midway in the morning. But it varies a lot depending on what's going on.
What's your go-to food when you're feeling run down?
Oh, that's a really good question. I tend to get a bowl and fill it with frozen wild blueberries. Let them kind of warm up a little bit. I just take a spoon and I just shove them in. It always makes me feel better.
Late night snacks, sweet or savory?
Savory always,
What's the most misunderstood fruit or vegetable?
The wild blueberry, by far. Still, people don't realize the difference. The regular blueberry doesn't have a fraction of the power as the wild blueberry, fraction of the antioxidants. The wild blueberry is a wild food. It's adaptogenic. It helps us survive chaos. A regular blueberry doesn't. It's the most misunderstood.
Preferred type of workout?
I like to swim when I can, take a walk, ride my bicycle, I like to do things like that. But my most preferred is gardening.
What time do you wake up and go to sleep?
I could just promise you this. There's a good chance I'm sleeping between 1 in the morning and 5 in the morning. Because I push the work till too late and I get myself up a little too early to start work again. But if you wonder when medical medium is sleeping, it's between 12 or 1 to 5. You know what I mean?
Does the medical medium drink coffee?
No way. Me? Oh my God, that would probably make me way too hyped up and way too hyper.
Do you drink tea?
Yeah.
No caffeine. I'm just going to be too crazy.
Do you think caffeine's bad for you?
Yeah.
Okay.
I think it's really bad for people. And I know there's two schools of thought. I know everybody's like, everybody's out there. No, it's good for you. Antioxidants. And here's a new discovery about coffee. You hear it every single day. In regular terms, it's bad for you. Yeah.
Biggest vice.
Biggest vice? Loud noise. I create loud noise. Play the music really, really loud, probably damaging my ears, really smart. And I get on my drum kit and hit my drum kit really hard, grab a guitar, hit that, I play loud things and play loud music. That's my that's my vice.
Listen, you might be controversial, but you have helped a lot of people.
Well, I'm honored.
And with controversy,
Yeah.
It's
It's amazing.
Things.
It's a gift you have.
We always ask every guest before they go, if you could give advice to your 10-year-old self, what would it be?
10-year-old self. I would say anything happening in the moment really isn't a big deal because every 10 years, it's gonna feel and be different. You think what's happening in the moment is so bad, but really it's not. It'll be okay.
You're amazing.
Yeah.
Okay. Check him out. If you don't know him, everybody knows him at Medical Medium. Check out his many best-selling books. We're going to have them all linked below. Brain Saver, To Cleanse, To Heal, to Celery Juice. They're incredible reads. The website, all his social channels. And
if there's one takeaway for everyone, just start drinking celery juice. It tastes delicious. I've
I already
gotta say.
finished mine.
This one's really good.
I already finished mine.
It seems like a
Rosie
baby
got
step
this.
you can take in drastically improving your health.
And you guys can now watch our full-length episodes on YouTube at Molly Sims, so make sure and check that out. Follow us at Lipstick on the Rim. Make sure and follow Emisha on her Substack. Tell me more. That's a wrap. You're amazing, Anthony.
Honored to be
Medical
here.
Medium.
Thank you so much for
I want
coming.
to say
for having
to Robin Cassidy, if you're listening, I'm sitting next to him.
Thanks for listening to Lipstick on the Rim with Molly Sims and my ride or die, Emisha Gormley. We are so excited to bring you guys along on this journey with us. You can find us on Instagram and TikTok at Lipstick on the Rim and at Molly B. Sims. Or you can go to my blog where you can dive just a little bit deeper into my favorite products, trends, and more at mollysims.substack.com. And don't forget to check out our video episodes on my YouTube channel, Molly Sims. This podcast is a production with Sony Music. I wanted to give a special thanks to my team, Rosie Cummings, Kenna Ryan, Safin Kevorkian, and everyone at Sony Music. Don't forget to listen and follow wherever you get your podcasts so you never miss out on the fun.